Hey guys, Crypto Dad here again, and today I'm going to do a full comparison of the Tangem wallets versus the Ledger wallets. Now, before we get too far into it, I'm going to just say that I use both. There's no reason why you can't use more than one cryptocurrency wallet. There's this whole mentality out there of I have to choose one and which one is the best. That's really not the best way to think about cryptocurrency hardware wallets. What you really want to think about is which wallet is right for me. So there's a lot of considerations. I'm going to break them down for you. Let's go through them step by step, wallet by wallet, so you can make an informed decision when you decide which one to buy, whether it's Ledger or Tangem. So let's jump in. So as we compare these wallets, I'm going to revisit these considerations and priorities that you should have when deciding on a cryptocurrency wallet that is right for you. This is a pretty typical list of considerations that most people might use. Other people may have different orders of priorities, but usually security is number one. But a lot of people don't realize that there should be a bigger consideration that should be number one. And what is that? There it is. Don't lose crypto. If your number one consideration is security and you run out and buy a wallet that is too difficult for you to use, you run the risk of losing crypto through your own mistakes. So, don't lose crypto should be your number one consideration. Don't buy a wallet that's too difficult for you to use. I've seen this over and over again. If you're just getting started in crypto, look for a wallet that is easy enough for you to use and has the features that you're looking for. So like I said, I will revisit these considerations as we compare these two wallets. So keep in mind also that each of these companies has different offerings. The Tangem wallet has card sets that are $69 retail, pretty decent price. I would recommend the 3-card set over the 2-card set. It's good to have 2 backup cards. You could even keep them in different locations. They also have the Tangem ring, which is a little more expensive. The Tangem ring also comes with 2 backup cards. In case you lose your ring, you can get a replacement and not lose your crypto. So it's a pretty good solution, and the price is much lower than the Ledger line. Going over to the Ledger line, we have the Ledger Stacks coming in as the most expensive, and the Ledger Flex a little less. Both of these are more expensive than the Tangem line. But we also have the Ledger Nano X and the Ledger Nano S Plus, which come in around the same price as the Tangem cards. But let's hit that security consideration. Now, both of these wallets are hardware wallets, which means the private key is stored offline or separate from your internet-connected device. So the private key for Tangem lives on the card or on the ring, and your crypto is out there on the blockchain. So it is a secure hardware wallet solution. Ledger, of course, is one of the most secure wallets on the market. It has its own display. It has secure screen displays, which means that the screen is powered directly from the secure element chip built in to the device. So this is an advantage over Tangem in the sense that Tangem has no display. So the only way to manage the Tangem wallet is on your phone, and your phone is not really a security device. It is a convenience device. Phones are great, but they are not really considered security devices. But this seeming drawback of the Tangem card is balanced by the way the card operates. So when you set up a Tangem wallet, now I'm talking about the seedless setup, when you simply use your Tangem cards and don't create a seed phrase, the private key never leaves the card. This is an advantage not only in the day-to-day use of the card, but also an advantage in the setup process because it makes it so much easier and quicker than setting up a ledger device. Also, in day-to-day use, when you're using the Tangem solution, you never see the seed phrase. So there's no need to write it down. There's no need to store the seed phrase. There's no way to lose the seed phrase or write it down incorrectly or write it down illegibly. This happens a lot with Ledger and other devices that require the backup phrase. People write down their seed phrase incorrectly or they can't read what they wrote down. And a lot of people worry about tampering of some kind or their wallet getting hacked in some way or form. It's understandable why people would worry about these kind of things. They're unfamiliar with the technology and they think that it might leak or something of that nature. But I'm here to tell you that both the Tangem card and the Ledger cards have never been hacked directly, right? These are secure devices. But the number one way that people get hacked or lose their crypto is getting tricked into revealing their seed phrase, those 12 or 24 words that you have to write down when you first set up your wallet. This is the number one way. So the Tangem wallet protects newcomers from that attack surface. You don't have a seed phrase, so you have no seed phrase to be tricked into revealing. I know that's kind of a strange argument, but believe me, I've been at this for many years and I have heard so many sad stories about people that were tricked into revealing their seed phrase and lost their crypto. So the Tangem card can be considered a security feature of the Tangem card, that it hides the seed phrase from the user. But now let's talk about usability. Usability is very important. As I mentioned earlier, if you cannot figure out how to use your device, it's not going to be very useful to you and you could end up losing crypto. Now, for a beginner, I would highly recommend starting off with the Tangem wallet because it is so easy to use. As I mentioned, the setup is easy because you don't have to write down a seed phrase. It probably will take you 5 or 10 minutes. Also, when using the card, it's really easy to authorize transactions. It's easy to fund the wallet and transfer crypto back and forth. All you have to do is hold the card up to the back of your phone. So let's talk about usability over on the Ledger side. Now, the Ledger Nano X and the Ledger Nano S Plus have been around for quite a while now, and there are a lot of people out there using them to great effect. I personally have been using Ledger devices since 2017. However, the Ledger Nano X and the Ledger Nano S Plus use a 2-button interface that you use to navigate around on this tiny little screen. It's not rocket science and it can be used. However, I have been dealing with tech support with people for many years, and a lot of newcomers are very confused about the menu interface on the Ledger Nano X and the Ledger Nano S Plus. I hate to say that. They're great devices, they're secure devices, but they are a little difficult to use, especially for newcomers. Now, the new offerings of Ledger, the Stacks and the Flex, have the e-ink display touchscreen, the first organic touchscreen on the market, and they are a joy to use. So that usability is very high when we're dealing with the Ledger Flex and the Ledger Stacks. Easier to enter your PIN, easier to enter a recovery phrase, easier to read your recovery phrase when you're first setting up the wallet. Also, the time of setup is much faster for the Ledger Flex and the Ledger Stacks than the older devices because, like I said, it is so much easier to read the screen on the Flex and Stacks. However, Ledger Flex and Stacks are more expensive than Tangem. So in order to get that usability, you have to spend a little more on a Ledger device than you would on a Tangem device. But we want our wallets to be easy to use, right? So usability is very high. A lot of people put security number one, and then they may not even think about usability until they open up the box and start trying to get it set up. I've got lots of emails and comments from people that are saying that, oh my gosh, I can't figure out how to use this thing. Not just ledgers, but all kinds of different cryptocurrency hardware wallets. There is an evolution going on in cryptocurrency hardware wallets. They're becoming more mainstream and they're becoming easier to use. And so they've found ways to sort of bring hardware devices into the 21st century. We're all used to using touchscreens on our phones and on our tablets and even on our laptops and our desktops. So touchscreen is really the most intuitive way to enter transactions or set up or restore devices. And so Ledger Stacks and Ledger Flex have that functionality. And of course, when you're using the Tangem device, you're using your phone to manage the crypto. So let's talk about power. The long and short of it is that the Ledger line has been around for a long time, and they have always focused on supporting lots of crypto. In addition to supporting crypto natively in their Ledger Live app, there are a lot of developers of third-party wallets that also support the Ledger device. So when it comes to power, the Ledger device stands out in this regard. It supports a lot of different cryptocurrencies and is also supported by a lot of third-party wallets. So if you are planning on buying lots of different cryptocurrencies and getting into experimental cryptocurrencies, the stuff that just came out that are only supported with third-party wallets, and you want to be safe and secure and store your crypto using a hardware wallet to manage the private key, then the Ledger device is really a no-brainer in that. And kind of while we're on this subject, when we talk about the number of cryptocurrencies supported, you see here it says 5,000 plus. And Tangem also claims thousands of cryptocurrencies. Both of these claims are true, but can be a little misleading because they always include ERC20 tokens, and there are thousands of ERC20 tokens out there. So it's really easy to say, hey, this wallet supports thousands of cryptocurrencies because they're mostly ERC20 tokens, which are basically just Ethereum-based tokens that will go in your Ethereum wallet. What you really want to think about is the support for unique cryptocurrencies, cryptocurrencies that have their own blockchain. So, and that's kind of where the Ledger stands out. So let's address this flexibility issue. The Tangem wallet, when used as originally designed, is a proprietary platform. In other words, you're pretty much dependent on Tangem if you use the seedless option. There's no backup phrase, so you have to rely on your 2 backup cards. If you lose all 3 cards, then you lose your crypto. This was kind of a deal breaker for a lot of people when Tangem first came out, and that's why Tangem ended up adding the optional use of a seed phrase. But it's not really a stretch for Tangem to use this kind of system. People have been managing high-value assets since time immemorial. When we think about gold rings, diamond rings, priceless art, gold watches, family heirlooms, bearer bonds, things like that. These are all things of high value, which if you lose them, they're gone. So it's not that much of a stretch to say, okay, here is a Tangem card, don't lose it, right? A lot of people, the first thing they think about when they hear that they only get these 3 cards is, oh, what if I lose all 3 cards? Well, you probably wouldn't say that if someone gave you a priceless work of art. Oh, what if I lose it? Or a gold coin. What if I lose it? Right? The discipline here is don't lose it. Keep track of your cards. It's really not asking that much. But you are dependent on the Tangem ecosystem. So one of the biggest questions that I get in my comments section and emails is, what if Tangem goes out of business? This is one of those big questions. I'm almost, and I'm really tired of hearing that question because I've been at this so long. Tangem has addressed this issue ad infinitum, ad nauseum. If Tangem goes out of business, their app is open source. You can still use the card even if Tangem does not exist as a company. So even if Tangem were to go out of business, the cards would still be usable several years, many years after that. You could simply move your crypto somewhere else. So yes, you are relying on the Tangem ecosystem when you use the cards in the seedless setup, right? But that is really the unique use case that Tangem brings to the table. The seedless setup, you don't see your seed phrase, you're not in danger of losing it or revealing it, and it makes card setup that much easier. But when we talk about Ledger, Ledger uses the BIP39 standard 24-word backup phrase when you set up your wallets. This does make it a little more difficult and time-consuming to set up, and you also have to consider the security of your seed phrase. Make sure it's written down, make sure it's stored where you can find it again, and make sure you don't reveal it to anyone else. But this gives it a power and flexibility. So if you were to lose your device, you can easily buy a new device and restore using your backup phrase. Also, if you decide you don't want to use Ledger devices anymore, you have a backup phrase that is an industry standard and can be imported into other hardware wallets if you decide you don't want to use Ledger anymore. So the Ledger system that uses the industry standard BIP39 backup gives you a power and flexibility that you don't get with Tangem. So I've tried to cover the main points here. Number one, don't lose crypto, right? So choose the wallet that's right for you. If the Ledger is too difficult for you to use, then you might be better off with a Tangem. You don't want to lose crypto because you can't figure out how to use the wallet, or you screw something up, reveal your seed phrase, get tricked into revealing it, all kinds of considerations like that. Choose the wallet that's right for you. We talked about security. Both of these wallets are very secure. They store your private key offline. Usability is a big consideration. Tangem wins usability, but the Ledger Stacks and the Ledger Flex also get very high marks for usability, but they're a little more expensive. And then, we talked about affordability. Tangem wins on affordability because they are a much more affordable solution to get you up and running. Power, I think Ledger shines on the power and also on flexibility. So I probably forgot a few things, which I'll probably address in the comments, but that's just a quick overview of the comparison between these two wallets. If you have any questions about anything I said, throw them up in the comments and I'll do my best to get them answered. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click. That will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon.